Questions for Coach Kelly?
So did you like what you saw from Fall today? His the last couple outings, he's fallen apart a little bit in the later innings, and today, even though he had that rough bout, I think it was the third inning, and then from there on, he was able to sort of limit the damage and just stay focused.
Yeah, that's been a concern. You know, that third inning has kind of been his deal the last couple of outings. So we wanted to get through that. Now this one I thought was different because there wasn't hard contact in that third inning. So it's a blooper and a chopper and some of those things. So we used that as a positive. But he came back out in the fourth and showed some aggression and got a couple punch outs. So I felt like he got over the hump today. That's good for us.
So you had a mound visit there in the third inning, and after you came back to the dugout, you didn't allow a hit until he came out. What'd you say to him?
Nothing really. He was frustrated with them not hitting the ball hard and getting hits, and he gets emotional at times. So I had to just settle him a little bit, get him focused on what we were trying to accomplish, which is pounding the zone, throwing strikes, and he kind of took it from there.
Was that what kind of changed from after that third inning, just kind of attacking hitters and staying in the zone?
Yeah, he gets, I don't know if excited is the word, but he's intense, and sometimes that gets in his way, and we want to make sure we can tone that down and make sure he's focused on what he can control. And I think at the end, he threw strikes and pounded the zone. He got them out of their rhythm a little bit. The more strikes you throw, the more pitches they're going to swing at. So they started to chase a little bit because he started to pound the zone.
Seemed as if the fastball was the one that was kind of giving him trouble that Fresno State was eating up, but he generated quite a bit of whiffs with the breaking balls and the curveball. Do you think the energy that you said that he has on the mound kind of maybe affected that fastball in those first 2-3 innings?
Well, it's funny with him. He's got so much movement. That two-seamer has incredible movement, so arm side movement. So it's hard for him to control at times. And when he gets it under control, it's effective. But sometimes it takes him an inning or two. And the breaking ball is usually something that he can throw for a strike. So when he gets in those funky modes a little bit, sometimes we go to the breaking ball. And especially them on Sunday, they were being aggressive, and we knew they were going to swing. So it ended up being a good combination for him.
Is that something that you're going to have to just kind of deal with him going forward, or can that be fixed or kind of adjusted going?
I don't know about fixed, but it can be worked through better than it has been. We need to get him, the best in the world make mistakes just like he does. They just recover quicker. It doesn't take him 4 or 5 pitches to fix those problems. So that's part of what we do on a weekly basis is making sure that we're making those adjustments as quick as we possibly can. And he's getting better at it.
Obviously, that first 1, 2, 3 inning came in the fourth, but then the offense kind of started after that. So do you think that kind of helped him kind of build and continue that momentum for those strong last few innings?
Yeah, when you're being forced or asked to force contact, scoring runs helps push that along. Getting a lead helps him relax a little, helps anybody relax, and helps him feel a little bit more comfortable throwing in the zone. When you got a good offensive team like them and the wind's blowing out, you can want to nibble a little bit and be perfect. And once we scored some runs, he felt like he didn't have to be as perfect. I think it helped him.
I believe it was 10 ground ball outs and only 1 through the air. How good a job did he do keeping it low in the zone?
That's why he pitches on Sunday. I mean, that's been the process the whole time. We know it's going to be offensive on Sunday. We know the wind's going to be blowing out. He's a ground ball pitcher. He can force it on the ground. With those two, you saw a couple double plays with those guys, those infielders. They're pretty good. If we can get the ball hit to them, we're going to be successful. So that's the plan going into Sundays with him, is to force the ball on the ground, and that's why he pitches on Sundays, and he was real good at it today.
Go ahead.
No, how big is it, do you think, for this pitching staff and the lineup too, that you have Gage swinging the bat like he did today?
Man, it's huge, and it's not just his numbers, but he's such a great kid and such a hard worker that everybody is pulling for him, and you want him to have success because it helps us win, but you want him to have success because we know how hard he works, the time that he puts in, and nobody is more committed to this team winning than he is. So to see him have success, the whole dugout gains energy, and we know offensively if he starts to roll, will be an issue with most teams we face.
How nice is it just to have not only 5 straight, but 11 of 12 before you start conference play this week, like momentum-wise?
It's always good to be playing good. And we know that the Pac-12, it kind of ratchets down a little bit. It gets a little bit tougher, and it's going to be a little bit more stressful. But I think that the last 15 games or so is going to prepare us for that. We've been through some ups and downs. We've blown teams out. We've been in dogfights. We've given up the lead late in the game. We've scored runs. We've done things late in the game. So I think we're prepared for what the conference is going to bring to us.
In that stretch of games, I just feel like there's been some contagious hitting. Kind of started with Trevor, then get Swift, Jump, now Workman's. I feel like it's been kind of just contagious like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of factors, in my opinion, on why that happens. Guys start getting comfortable on what teams are trying to do to them. So scouting reports get thrown around and get mixed around, and guys get comfortable with how guys are trying to attack them, and they start to make adjustments. Now teams will start to make adjustments to them. So when the offense gets going, that's contagious for everybody, because it takes a little bit of pressure off. You know, if Gage is hitting, it takes pressure off Torque, and if Torque's hitting, it takes pressure off Hogger, and those guys, when they're all working together, it's a pretty formidable lineup.
Was that just a tune-up for Boyd for Tuesday, or what was the decision-making with?
I'm not going to tell you that. It was his day to get work, so I wanted to get him in there and get him some work. So we're going to sit down as a coaching staff right now and evaluate what Tuesday is going to look like for us. It'll be more than likely a combination of him and Tolman to some extent, and then refiguring out what we're going to do rotation-wise for the conference weekend and going from there. We've got to have to put, you know, there's going to be some tough conversations. We've done a good job with the starting rotation, I think. So with that comes tough conversations when you get into a 3-game week. But all our guys have been great. They want to win, and they want to do anything they can to win. So those conversations will be difficult because you don't want to do that to somebody. You know, they've been good. So, but we're going to have to do that, and we'll put 2 pretty good arms in the bullpen for the conference weekend, which selfishly I'm pretty excited about.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.